everybody? Welcome to the Wingin podcast. Jack, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How about yourself?
I am making it. I am making it. You see the title? Getting ready. It's that time of the year, people. It's that time of the year. And before we get into what's gonna be shenanigans in a month, um, what you been playing, Jack?
If anybody saw the post, I just wrapped up Sea of Stars.
Mm,
Um, so I had the game when it first released, and it was one of those things where you get started and you kind of put it down. And I don't know, it was I was like, okay, I gotta finish something. Like I was in a mood to finish something. And
mm.
I was like, okay, I got Sea of Stars on my Switch. Picked it up, had to, relearn the controls a little bit, which isn't much. And went through it. So I will say the ending surprised me. It kind of threw me off. Now I know there's a true ending to it, but of course you got to do some stuff to get the true ending. And my thing is like, okay, if you not just because me making it to the end of the game isn't true ending, okay, well we'll save it for another day. But uh,
You know what, man? Can I be honest with you, man?
what's
I
that?
done got to that age. Like back when I was younger, I used to love that multiple ending mess.
Hmm.
Nowadays, don't do that.
I didn't
Just
even
end
make
the
the attempt
game. Yeah,
because
just end the game.
I literally, because of how I played the game, I
Hmm.
completed 2 out of the 6, I think, required things you have to do to even get the true ending. So I was like, sure, but what y'all got it. Like,
Yeah.
I, I'll just have to take the fact that the ending wasn't what I thought it was. Because I knew, for spoiler alert, I mean, I'm pretty sure most people have played this game. If you haven't, you wasn't gonna play it anyway. But um
True.
the one of the main solstice warrior masters that you had, she had already like turned heel in the beginning of the game, but she ended up being the final fight. Now where it threw me off, the guy that converted her, you don't even fight dude. It was just like, okay, I beat you, haha, you said that you would quit if I win, and he stopped, and so he just went to a portal and just disappeared. So then it was like, oh, okay, there's a world eater. So I'm like, all right, cool, cool, cool. We got a bigger boss. It was a bigger boss, like humongous, but then it turned into a shoot 'em up. I was like, okay. And
That's
it was
funny.
like that thing had like 4 heads, and it was like, I shoot this one, shoot this one, shoot. I was like, okay, I shot it. So now we're gonna go on the floor and we're gonna get back to the turn base. Nah, nah, nah. So I'm like, interesting. Credits rolled.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Alrighty. I
So
know they
as
did. I know they got an update. I need to go. I need
well, the
to.
update happened, and
Yeah.
that was where I was like, I wish it would have happened sooner, but I was already towards the end of the game, and even with that update, um, the only things that would have affected me was like the new challenge to where they block off what would like break those locks for
Mhm.
people to do the special attacks, and then I know they have a new prologue, but I'm like, I'm already at the
Yeah,
end
I'm
of the
not
game.
redoing that. I'm
I'm
not
not
redoing
redoing
that.
that.
Yeah, no.
Which I mean, the prologue was smart. It was like them as kids fighting.
But
So it
that's
was.
the thing. Why would you do that now?
I have no idea. My
Like,
guess is you think it's gonna bring some type of resurgence,
or new
or people.
people into it?
Right? Yeah, because I mean, I know that
Because
like
I ain't starting over.
I'm not. No, and like Rain, because Rain was telling me about the DLC, and I was like, I didn't even know it was gonna have DLC come out,
Yeah,
but
it is.
it's so far in between. It's like, do I even care?
Yeah,
Like,
that's
because this
that's
came
true.
out what 23.
Yeah, 23. The early 23.
Yeah. So,
So
but yeah, outside of that, I really haven't been able to play anything else. Not for real. I need to get back into Batman, whenever I got time. But honestly, Sea of Stars was kind of like my go-to this week.
gotcha, gotcha. Me, I've been playing Yeast 10 Nordics. I got to give a shout out to Vicky for turning me on to the Yeast series because I
Yeah, you
love
be
this
on it.
series.
You be on E. Like you're one of the ones that I hear cape for that game.
Yeah, dude, I ain't gonna lie, I do. That game is good. So I I need to finish Echoes of Wisdom, but I jumped off of that because I know Yeast is usually they're quicker games to get through. So I should be done with this probably tomorrow. Um, and I jumped back into Tekken 8 to do the Hihachi story, and I'm just laughing at the ridiculousness. I love the ridiculousness of this story. It makes absolutely no sense. I'm like Fast and the Furious. makes more sense than Tekken 8.
Right. And that's
Say that again. Fast and the Furious makes more sense than the Tekken 8 story does.
mm,
At that. I will leave it at that. So
mm,
yeah, that's pretty much all I've been. I need to jump back into First Ascended.
right.
Just because I enjoy that game. I just need to jump back into it because they got some new stuff happening. I completely missed the last season, so
Hmm.
that's just because of real life.
Yeah.
Man, telling y'all, man, being an adult.
Boy. It's crazy because I mean, like even me, I should have played more this week because I had time to do so somewhat, but it was a mixture of appointments,
Mm-hmm.
mixture of birthdays, and it's like, I wanted to finally make the decision to possibly buy Grand Theft Auto Trilogy, seeing that they just fixed it out of nowhere, like
Yeah,
like out
yeah.
of
I
nowhere.
wonder what boosted that decision because
Yeah,
that
like
game been out for what over a year now.
yeah, it seemed like it's been longer than that, but yeah, it
Yeah.
might have been a year. But I mean, of course, you saw like the crazy theories of like, oh, they had to wait until the end, the contract was over with Grove Street Gaming. I was like, I don't think that's how that works. But
Nah.
like, they own the property; they don't have to wait for permission to
Yeah.
fix their damn game. So it's, but
Why do I gotta wait for that?
yeah, but honestly, I don't know. Actually, no, they said it's been 3 years since that game because I've been watching a couple
Yeah.
videos of like what changes were made.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's been 3 years.
Yeah. So
So yeah.
I kind of fell out of love with GTA series when True Crime hit. When True Crime Streets of LA hit, I was like, oh, this is
Yeah.
this is my jam. When that John Woo the Stranglehold game,
Mhm.
I'm like, this is my jam. I couldn't go back to Grand Theft Auto because especially like now, I just feel like at this point it's kind of like with Mortal Kombat a little bit. Like
Mhm.
you know how when Mortal Kombat came out, it was fun. The fatalities are where it was at. Now the fatalities are. I don't even try to do fatalities. I be trying to do X-ray shots
Mhm.
because that's more gruesome than the fatalities.
Right.
Kind of like that. It's like I started playing other stuff, and I'm like, okay, Grand Theft Auto just side.
Well, I mean, it was something amazing for when it dropped. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like we got Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, and San Andreas on one console.
yeah,
So they hit us over the head with like, and they were like, it wasn't even like small incremental changes. It was some
mm,
big changes.
yeah.
All three of those games. I wasn't the biggest fan of 4, and as much as I purchased 5, I wasn't a big fan of 5
Mm.
either. So
I still think Vice City is probably my favorite one.
San Andreas will always be my
Oh yeah, we
go-to.
got that
But
CJ, but I'm just like as far as the way they did Vice City, and then the music,
yeah.
the music that's the best one for the music as far as I'm concerned
The
was
only
Vice
reason
City.
why I don't choose Vice City is because I feel like they did Scarface better. Like
Ah,
I
yeah, yeah.
because that Scarface game was crazy. Like and then like you said, True Crime was top dog, like Sleeping Dogs was even I felt like a little bit
Oh
of
yeah.
a more enticing game because it wasn't like and I think the best way to put it is I not a big fan of like these super open world games that you
Hmm.
don't do a lot in. I like the linear open
Yeah.
world, and that's what Sleeping Dogs does. And
Especially when it's kind of like those old school John Woo movies, because that's basically what True Crime
yeah,
was.
yeah.
The True Crime and Sleeping Dogs was basically a John Woo movie.
Yep.
The old school '90s John Woo movies. All was missing was the doves.
Yeah.
That's all was missing. So yeah.
Dark Void, yeah, I did. I'm
Oh yeah,
surprised
Time Wars. Yes,
we
yes,
don't have that on console. That's
yeah.
crazy.
Which surprised me because like Chinatown Wars was one of those ones that like because I remember back when it came out, because people were like there's no way this game could work on the handheld, and I'm like, bro, Ninja Gaiden Dragon Sword works on the handheld, and they make you hold it like a book. So I think this can work. And then I picked it up. I'm like, this works surprisingly well,
Yeah.
and they never went back to it.
No. And the crazy thing when you mentioned Ninja Gaiden, how
Yeah,
was that the only game that took that type of creativity outside of I think what like Brain Age games would do something
yeah,
like that too, but Ninja Gaiden was the only flip it like a book and play that was creative.
yeah. And it wasn't hard to play. Like it was still challenging because some of them bosses was some of them bosses. I'm like, either guy keep man, you an asshole. Like,
Yeah.
these bosses, this not supposed to be this hard. So, but I like the game was fun though. The game was actually fun. Like that's why when people be saying like, "Oh man, I want this game for the DS or 3DS to come to a home console," I'm like, I want Dead or Alive Dimensions. I want Ninja Gaiden Dragon Sword. I want Chinatown Wars. And if I had my way, I want Kid Icarus Uprising.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Nintendo could make a killing if they could get both themselves and third party on board to remake those 3DS games, and of course, take the 3D and touchscreen element out of it. But
yeah.
but just make them regular games. And there's a lot of games people just didn't play because they did not like the stylus function of those games.
Even though, once again, just like with Gamepad, because boy, me and Shadow been going at it with folks. This doggone Xenoblade, boy, because I got people mad at me for actually. Why do people get mad when I bring up concerns? I'm not saying I hate the game or nothing. Like, I just bring up concerns and people in their feelings about it.
Yep. No, how that go? If you don't agree with me, then you're wrong.
Yeah, so I was just saying, I'm like, bro, like this Gamepad situation, I want to know what they plan to do with Xenoblade Chronicles X for this Gamepad. I'm telling you, I'm not finna sit here and have to hit pause every 5 minutes to do this doggone Maranium. I'm not doing it.
They have to do a good job to like showcase how that's going to work, because if they pull that off, I can foresee Wind Waker and Twilight Princess coming. Because if you find a creative way to do that, then yeah.
Because the problem is, and I go back, I use 14101 as my example. Because I didn't buy that game on Switch. I went over to a friend's house and played. I'm like, I will play the superior version, which is on the Wii U.
Yeah.
And he was like, man, why you say that? I'm like, brought the Wii U over to his crib, showed me like, yeah, this is a better version. I know, because it was built for the ground up for that system. It's not that hard. So that's that. But it's been an interesting year, wouldn't you say? As far as gaming is concerned. So you're completely premature game of the year 2024. What you got?
Premature?
What would you like? What is your personal game of the year, and what is your honorable mention game of the year 2024?
For me, I feel like I would have to bring VR into this.
Okay.
I would have to.
We'll just say overall.
Overall?
Yeah. Overall.
My premature, definitely from what I've been playing and being towards the end, Batman. Like Batman on Quest is freaking amazing. If you love the Arkham games, this is literally Arkham. Well, I take it back, Origins, but in VR. I would say that is my premature. My honorable mention this year. Ooh, I'm trying to think what came out this year, because I feel like they all blend together after a while.
It kind of does, especially the first half of the year.
What came out in 2024? Because that first half will kill you. Game release.
I can give you a little bit of a thing. Prince of Persia in January, Lost Crown.
Okay.
Tomb Raider 1 through 3 remastered. Mario vs. Donkey Kong. Unicorn Overlord. Contra Operation Galuga. Princess Peach Snow Time. South Park Snow Day. Tales of Kenzera Zao. Ayuden Chronicle. Saga Emerald. What was another Paper Mario 1,000-Year Door that came out?
Okay.
I know which game you're thinking of. Foam Stars.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I had to put that in there.
Sure. I think I got one as an honorable mention. And the only reason why I would say this one is an honorable mention is because I personally didn't play it, but I can recognize greatness when I see it. And that is the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Okay.
I'll actually nope, take that back. I just saw this list. Shin Megami Tensei 5. With Vengeance. Yeah, I'll give that as an honorable mention. That's a game that I really want to get into, and the same thing with Metaphor. Like, I played the demo, and there's only been a handful of demos that I really played through that 3-hour demo and was like, I still want to get this game, and Metaphor was one of them. So, scratch Batman. Metaphor, game of the year, and then I'll give what did I just say?
Shin
Megami. Yeah, I give Shin Megami. I'll give that an honorable mention, because with Metaphor, that game is amazing. Like, it's an amazing game, and I wish I had more time to play it.
Yeah.
But
I've heard, because I haven't picked it up, but I've told people the reason why.
uh
There was just too much stuff to drop at the same time. I'm sorry,
it did.
something
It's
had to
just too
get cut,
much. Yeah.
and I was like, I will buy that the beginning of next year. So sometime
Right.
in Q1, I will buy Metaphor Refantazio, because once you get past that 45-minute BS, I can't do nothing opening. It does get, it
Oh,
does
trust me. Like we talked about before,
good.
they long-winded.
They
Like
went into the hell out that. I'm like, God dang. But I gotta give them props. That music, even though
yeah.
sometimes that battle music, maybe that they talk about my mama.
Because at first I was
But
like, what is he saying?
man, like repeat a little, they're like, what the whoa, hey, bro, hold on, I don't know you like that, bro. No, I don't know you like that.
I think he just repeating himself. I'm like, what in the world is he saying?
Yeah. So, but yeah, I had to give Metaphor props. That demo, they did a good job with that demo.
Mhm.
Outside of that
Yeah.
horrendous intro, they did a good job with it as far as letting you get a taste for the combat and all that stuff. I thought it was actually pretty good, even though people tried to act like it was so innovative. I'm like, dude, Trail Through Daybreak does that.
Mhm.
So let's calm down, all right, people.
Yeah.
But for me, my game of the year, and this is a game from the first of the year. It's Prince of Persia: Lost Crown. I don't know
Okay.
what it is about that game. I love what they did with it. I
Okay.
do. Outside of the whole Killmonger thing, I love what they did with it. My honorable mention is I got two honorable mentions, and
Okay.
they both are designed to piss the racists off. Tales of Kenzera, because
Okay.
a lot of people mistakenly believe that Sweet Baby Ink had something to do with it, and I'm like, no, they didn't.
I really want to know where that crap came from. Like,
Even
who started that mess?
I don't know. To me, I think it's just people that don't say this the right way. People that hate seeing people that look like me and you
Mhm.
starring and stuff. They, as soon as they see that, it's automatic. It's woke. It's Sweet Baby Ink. It's they make up every excuse and just saying,
Yeah.
just say you don't like because of black, because it's an
Right.
African and it's dealing with black people. Just say
Right.
that. But me personally, playing the game, I enjoy it. It's a very well done game. It
Okay.
does get a little aggravating sometimes because some of that stuff, I'm like, bro, how are you supposed to do this? It takes me too long to do this stuff. But I enjoy it, and I enjoy the story elements of it, because I think the themes of it are actually really good. And my other one is Princess Peach Showtime.
Really?
I did not expect to like that game as much as I did.
Really?
I
Okay.
did not expect to like that game as much as I did. I thought they did a real good job on like setting it up with the different plays being like its own linear world or whatever.
All
And I
right.
kind of like that. I liked it so much to the point where I was making up. They need to do a Princess Peach, Princess Zelda game where Ninja Peach and Sheik are side scrolling beat 'em up. That's where I was at with that, because
Okay.
it's just fun. It's just fun. Like I like that. And the boss battles aren't bad. They're actually really well done. I like the straight up ridiculousness of the art style of it,
Right.
because once she goes into a play, everybody she's fighting are puppets, and
Right.
you can actually see the strings. It's actually hilarious. So
Okay.
I enjoyed that one. I have not picked up Brothership, but I do want to get it.
Yeah.
Far as
I
Music
mean,
Brothership, I want to get it, but I gotta cut through some of these games first. I can't keep doing
bro,
this.
Brothership. I mean, I still haven't finished Bakaru. Like, I forgot that
Mm.
even came out this year.
Yeah,
So I mean,
I
it's a
gotta
lot of
pick
games up
Bakaru
there.
up. I
Yeah,
gotta pick Bakaru up. So
it's a lot because that game, to me, the only nick I give against Bakaru, it seems like it's too long winded. Like, I thought I was getting towards the end of the game and realized, oh shoot, I haven't done a single like robot fight like at all. And I was like, oh, okay, so you got some more to do. Like,
I will give them props for the demo, letting us play through all the different
hmm
types, because the shop part is actually fun. The mecha battle, even though it was literally a teapot, I thought that
right.
was fun. Thought that was fun. They do a good job of, and like you said, Jack, on many of occasions, they do need to bring back Mystical Ninja Goemon. They just do.
They do, and you can even
They
just
just do.
remaster it because it was just a good
Yeah.
game. But honestly, I mean, any game could really be picked. Shoot, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, one of my disappointments of this year was Sparking Zero. Not saying it's a bad game, it's just it wasn't what I cared for. Once
Mm-hmm.
I've got it and got over the hype, I was like, all right, it's cool.
That's what I thought was gonna happen. That's what I thought. It's just too
Yeah,
many characters.
And then,
It
oh
is too
shoot,
many
Jay,
shadow characters.
I'm so sorry.
What's up?
Astrobot. Shit. Like I
There's a
forgot
lot of
about
games
Astro.
came out. A lot of games came out this year, hadn't it?
In that game I completed. Like, okay, I can't pick ones, but nonetheless, I'm gonna throw Astrobot in there as like one of my game of the years because
Okay.
Astrobot was actually a good game. My only, like I said, my only nick against it was it doesn't have a personality of its own.
Yeah.
And so, like, if not Nintendo, but if Sony doesn't continue to give them IPs to utilize, then it really doesn't go anywhere. It's
So you think it's gonna be another Sackboy situation? I hope not.
um
I hope not.
yeah, like because it's doing exactly what Sackboy did. Because like if you remember, Sackboy, while it was like a cool platformer, Sackboy like fed off of the other IPs. Like, oh,
Yeah.
you can get these costumes, you can do this, and like it fed into that customization era because we were heavy in that customization era.
Mhm.
But once it got past that, you start
It
realizing
just
like it's just a typical platformer. It didn't do anything crazy, and even when they spawn off into racers and all this other stuff, is like it didn't. Once you remove the veil of all the nostalgia and all the prettiness and customization, you're like, oh, this is just a regular ass game. Like it's nothing
gotcha.
crazy about it, and that's what brings you back to Mario. As much as people dog on it, every Mario game he has new mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just think he's just jumping, but even when you go from like Cappy with like jumping into people, or even using Cappy yourself to jump to higher areas and make it a little bit further, or when you go back to the galaxies where you like traversing from different planets to do what you got to do, him implementing the fizz, the spin, the little roll spin that he does, even when he was doing a little twirl spin in Galaxy, like Mario always traverses in form of combat and movement. These games just I jump. They don't do nothing else but jump.
I do find that interesting because like people will dog Mario, but when you actually sit down and play it, you're like, dude, it's not the same as the game before.
No, it's not.
It's just not. Like there's always some new power. Now they may take a power up they hadn't used in a while, like when they brought back the flower, the super leaf. I mean, when they brought that back for the 3DS game, was it Gold Rush or whatever?
Right.
When they brought back the Tanuki leaf,
yep,
not the suit, but the actual leaf.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, like, yeah, they may do that, but it's always like 4 or 5 new power ups, completely new. And then like Odyssey was crazy because they put the HD 8-bit sections in there where you're like, dude, I want to play Super Mario 1 all over again like this.
Yeah, because my thing is like just what I just said about Little Big Planet and Astro. If the power-ups for Mario is actually what distracts away from what he does without the power-ups. Like the power-ups are cool, but Mario's movement and how he traverses through the level is top-notch throughout the entire game without a power-up. Like the power-up makes the game easier. Yeah. So like especially when you think about like the cat power-up, you climbing those walls and everything else, that makes it easier, but you can still get up on top of the walls and get those coins without the cat suit.
Yeah,
you just got to figure it out.
Yeah, you got to figure it out. So, yeah, I can see that. I don't want to say I feel bad, but Sony fans, y'all the ones to blame for that mess. Because they had legit mascots and exclusive stuff, and they just let it go. So
question for you real quick before we move on.
Yep.
Okay, is it fair for people to make, I guess you could say, observations and saying like, okay, here's an exclusive title. My console has about, let's say, 100 million sold, but this exclusive title sells 1 million. Is that fair, or should we look at it from a genre perspective?
It's fair, and we should look at it from a genre perspective because you got to think. Because if Astrobot only sold 1.5 mil, and I'm sitting up here, I think PS5 was like 45 mil or something like that.
45, almost close to 50. Yeah,
that's a problem.
Yeah,
but also is, you want to know who started that problem? Sony execs, because they're the ones that kept saying we're the mature console. We have the cinematic experiences. We don't need Jack and Daxter. What is it, Jack and Daxter? Pish posh. We're better than Microsoft. We'll do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, like, dude, You got a fan base that like this stuff, man. You got a fan base that's been asking you for Jack and Daxter and Sly Cooper, and you've been basically saying, y'all are peasants. That's basically what you've been saying.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at this point, and thanks, J Biggs, but that even makes it worse. 6-7
It makes it
worse.
worse. Yeah.
It don't make it. It makes it worse because you're like,
worse.
dude, when say what you want, when even I'll take it. I'll you know I'll give you like Zelda and Metroid.
Mm-hmm.
I love Zelda and Metroid. Everybody else don't.
Right.
So, but when Nintendo drops it, they make sure that okay, if we drop this game, we only need to sell 3 mil to make a profit at most.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So even if people don't really care for it, because like Metroid Prime, the first Metroid Prime game on back in 2002 on GameCube only sold like 1 mil, but it was profitable.
Mm-hmm.
It only sold 1 mil, but it was profitable. People think Metroid is a problem, is hella problem. Like, no, it ain't, bro. It really
the
ain't.
name. The name is what carried it.
So that's why I'd be laughing when I hear people be mad about like, because I told people, do not think this Zelda movie is gonna make $1 billion at the box office.
No,
this is not Mario. Mario's name and brand recognition is on the level of Mickey Mouse.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which is crazy to say.
Link, Zelda, and Ganondorf is not.
Right.
They're not. Samus Aran is not.
Yeah. I mean, because the only reason why I bring it up, because I've never known, and I could be wrong, and chat, y'all can correct me, a Sony game to be an evergreen title.
No. Well, back in the PlayStation 1 era, they did have a couple. They had that. It was when they brought out Sly Cooper, that was their start to their evergreen, but then they stopped it because they just stopped doing it after
3 generations ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
They just stopped. So because remember they had Spyro. They had Spyro Crash. It was theirs. Nobody else had that. And from PS1 to PS2, they was killing it. And remember they had the Disney games, Mark of Kree, and Rise of Kasai.
Mm-hmm.
Kingdom Hearts was theirs. And once PS3 came and they decided that yes, we can hang with Microsoft because we got money too, even though you're like you ain't got Microsoft money, but we got money too, and we can do these expensive games, and we can hand out blank checks too.
Mm-hmm.
And that ain't work for them.
Yeah,
because like you want to said, that ain't gonna sustain you in the long run, and
it really isn't. Because my thing is like, let's say, for example, if the same thing happened, which we know it's not going to, but just for shits and giggles, if this happened to Mario, we know over a span of like 5 or 6 years, that number is going to jump up pretty substantial.
Yeah.
But usually Sony gets all their sales up front, and that's kind of where it is.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's what they want too, or that's what they think they want. But it don't help them because if you have a $200 million game come out,
mm-hmm.
and then it comes out in November, and then in Christmas you already dropped it to $20. Even if you only do it for 2 weeks, you're not making enough for that to meet that $200 million. People don't understand that.
Yeah, I just like, I would expect their games to, not sell all up front, sell over time, but in reality they don't. I think Uncharted used to do that too, but that's gone. I don't think they're bringing Uncharted back. But
well, that movie flopped too. The movie didn't help either. The movie flopped too.
Trash. But I expect Astro to get to maybe 3 when it's all said and done.
The other thing too is I also think that they probably should have put that on PS4 as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, but it wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't have worked.
Well, the way they probably had to change controls a little bit. I guess a little bit.
I would say if you're gonna play the game straight up, it works. But if we're talking about if you're trying to get the full experience of Astro, you have to use the DualSense.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like you probably would have had to change. But I've been saying this for a couple of years now. A lot of those games, like I have a PS4 Pro.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of those games you can put on the PS4. Mm-hmm. It's not going to kill that experience. It's not. Like that's why I'm saying like Microsoft had it right in 2020. They're like, look, these games will be able to be played across all our family until you can get to where you need it. Right. But that's one to get. Now it's gonna be varying degrees of how to play. But if you have at least an Xbox One X, you're going to be fine.
Right.
If you have an Xbox One X, Xbox Series S, or Series X or PC, you're gonna be fine. That's what they meant when they said you could play the cross-star family.
Right.
Sony came out saying, "Oh, we're gonna have games only for PS5," and that did not. You saw real quick stuff started going to PC. They started having that little bitty things when they state of plays also available on the PS4.
Yep.
I mean, dude, we're seeing Stray and Pathless on the Switch.
Yeah.
They're not making the money that they need to make. So
that's sad.
I mean, Spider-Man would be the same way if they didn't have Marvel. If they didn't have Marvel like helping them out, Spider-Man would be the same way. You think that the Spider-Man 1 and 2 and Miles Morales would have stayed on the damn PlayStation if they didn't have some extra money coming in from that Marvel deal?
No, I mean,
they'd be on Xbox right now.
I mean, hell, Spider-Man has always been multi-plat until it went to Sony, but it's just one of those things. I don't know, man. Like, I hope they get together because it doesn't do me any service for them not to do well.
That's what I don't understand about people. How you gonna sit there and claim you a gamer and want somebody to fail?
Because they stupid.
Like that don't help. That don't help the gaming hobby and community. That don't.
But it comes back to what we typically see. When the generation is over, they'll go back and give it its praises.
Yeah. Oh, dude, they're like the Wii U now. Oh man, I don't understand why. My personal favorite. I don't understand why they keep it behind the paywall that is the Wii U.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Did you just call a console a paywall? At this point, I can't take you seriously.
I never
can't
will.
take you seriously.
Never will.
You called a damn console a paywall.
Look, sir. Common sense ain't common. And we know this.
But I digress. So sometimes people say stuff. I just chuckle.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
And I'm trying to be like nice, and I'm just not engaging. Like if you want to say stupid shit, I'm just gonna let you say it. If you say 2 + 2 = 19, yes, you're right.
They got it. You have it.
You're right. You can have it. I'm not arguing with you. So yeah, I'm not gonna argue with you over hobby. No. We went through games that. So all right, games. What kind of games you found that was surprisingly good this year? Like mine was already Princess Peach. That was one of them that I did not expect to like.
Surprise I heard. Yeah, I heard from you with that surprise. I honestly didn't have any surprises this year. Everything that I touched worked. Like it was what I thought it was. I had more of the failure side, like I said, with Sparking Zero, but no, I meant because for the things that I touched, thank you. Before I touched, they were very on point as far as how the games played out. How they showcased them, everything in itself played. Now, I'm trying to think, is there anything that's coming up? Now, the one that I haven't played, and as we all seen, has got mixed reviews, is Brothership. Yeah. Like that's one that, if it didn't come, is interesting. Like if it didn't come out the time that it came out, I would have it already and I could give a verdict. But honestly, I haven't picked it up yet because there's too much crap going on.
Yeah. I'm saying, like, I'm probably going to get that next year. So that's another one that's on the next year to get list. And by next year, I already is packing out a little bit with all these games in January. Man. You notice that?
Look, at this point, I got to figure out how to get some extra cash. I got to start hustling on the side or something for gaming.
Might have to go back to OnlyFans.
Boy, hey, look. Somebody want to see some ashy feet. That's what's up, man.
100% ashy.
If I could find somebody with an ash fetish, well, that's a different type of freak, boy. You know what I mean?
That's on a whole other level.
Jesus, yeah, you need help.
But okay, so for me, one of the surprises that I thought was actually pretty good. I'm actually liking Sonic Shadow Generations. Playing the Shadow side first because I've already played the Sonic side in the original. Playing the Shadow stuff, I like Shadow better than I like Sonic at times. It's kind of like the whole Vegeta Goku thing. So I'm enjoying it. That was a pleasant surprise. I had another pleasant surprise too. Grand Blue Fantasy Relink.
Okay.
Playing that one. That was been a pleasant surprise for me. Even though at times that game is kind of hard. It's not hard, but it's
Hmm.
hard to see what's going on because so many particle effects are happening at the same time. I kind of wish they
Gotcha.
toned some of that stuff down so I could see me eviscerating a dragon from. I'm sorry, me defeating a boss. Um, yeah, but like stuff like that. But yeah, those games are surprising fun. And First Descendant.
Okay.
I told people before I wanted to get. Usually, when I come into a looter shooter like Warframe or like Destiny, I'm late to the party. But this
Yeah.
one I'm not, and I'm actually glad. I'm still playing it and having fun, and I'm like, okay, this is not bad. I'm surprised that game ain't getting hell from the effiness because like
Right.
I'm dude, it's funny, but well, if you go into that game, you'll know what I'm talking about. You might have played that game when you log in, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You like, really, bruh? Just in my
Yeah.
face. Just
Hmm. Because I think
all right.
we started playing that game early on, and I think I kind of dropped off of it.
Yeah.
But
Mm.
yeah, I like I said, it's so hard to remember what the hell came out because I don't know why I thought Tales of Arise came out this year,
No, that
but
was the
it was like
DLC did.
21. Yeah,
The
the
expansion
DLC.
did. Yeah, the
Oh, okay.
expansion did. So you want to go on and talk about that now?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So our cousin Jeff Keighley
That's your cousin. Don't claim him.
uh, decided. So you guys know, they are doing the Game Awards nomination show tomorrow at 12 noon. We will be doing a live reaction like we did last year. So please stop through for that. But he put out a tweet basically saying that DLC and expansions are now on the table in every category. And at, all I said was, and this is why gamers all over have been clowning Keeley, because to me there is no set. Uh, I, I don't want to say standard because that's not the word I'm looking for, but there's no set
Guidelines. It really isn't.
guidelines. Yeah, there's no set guidelines for this. It's like every year he's making it up as he's
Hmm.
making it up on the fly, and I'm like, bruh, the first 8 years I let you have that because it was new. You're trying to get yourself established. You
Right.
know, I can give you that. At
Right.
this point, bruh, come on,
Yeah.
dude. Like you
It's
need to.
blatant.
It's clear that you're not taking any advice from anybody. So
And if he is, he got a bunch of yes men around him.
yeah, they're scared to tell him no. To tell him like,
Yeah.
nah, dude, that's stupid. Like he's got too many. So I'm sitting here and like I can see if this was a down year, like back in what was it, 2018, 2019, when it was
Hmm.
slow, and you had to do that. Fine, that's cool.
Hmm.
Even though I would have did it different, I would have
Right.
been like, hey, look, instead of the Game Awards this year, we're gonna have a celebration, just celebrating what's to come and stuff like that. I wouldn't have made it a Game Awards,
Hmm.
but I get it. This ain't that. We ain't been in a slump for 3 years now
No.
because all this stuff has been post pandemic. So stuff is we're getting games that probably should have came out 2+ years ago. We're getting them now.
Hmm.
So you ain't got no drought, bro. There ain't no excuse.
Yeah.
So unless you're just trying to get your favored system, and he does have a favorite. Y'all can get mad if you want to. He does have a favorite.
Jeff having favorites? What are you
Yeah,
talking about?
he's trying to get them more love and more accolades. That's the only way I can see this because there's no reason for DLC past DLC to have. That's why I said Game of the Year 2024 will be a game from 2022. Because look, Death Stranding got released on Xbox Series X. Y'all know what that means, right?
Oh yeah, it's a new release. It's a new release.
I rest my case.
My thing is this, because I think RJ already said it. I think it was for Elden Ring, but ultimately, it does. If anything, it helps the award show if you make remake remaster category because we got enough of them.
Yep.
And you make a DLC which I don't even understand.
I don't
but
understand that either.
Hey, I know a lot of people put love in their DLC. If you want to make sure that you honor it, give it a separate category like that. That's cool. Yeah. So if you say, all right, cool, we got to have at least, because my thing is this, like, I wouldn't give DLC a category because I don't foresee a lot of DLC worth it. At least enough nominees for you to really go and say, all right, cool. Like we're gonna have a separate category for it. But we get remakes and remasters out the wazoo. So at some point you're gonna have to make a separate category for it. But to have it tied into the categories you already have, as if you just got a whole bunch of them you can't get rid of, is stupid.
Now, and I've said this before, they need to have categories that don't ever leave. Like good game of the year, best music, best RPG, best, stuff like that. Then you have your categories that we don't need to see. You can show them on the side. You can show them on the side. We don't need to see. But those are the ones that change every year.
Esports.
Like, yeah. I know they're trying to give love to esports because they want esports to get more and more popular. But man, I tried watching some of that stuff. It's not fun to me.
I'd rather watch a speed run. I don't. No, I'm not watching esport.
Like I don't even like Evo like that. Like I've seen a couple of Evo matches, and I'm just like, I'm kind of bored.
Yeah.
So this
thing, I'm assuming it's an environment thing.
Yeah.
But watching it, no, it's not even worth it.
Because we ain't got no John Madden, Pat Summerall style commentators. We ain't got no Jim Ross and Jerry King Lawler style commentators.
Now that, sir, you are on something.
Like you ain't got the commentators that can get you into it.
That is, you're on to something there. Now I may watch it if you got those type of commentators.
Yeah,
like most people I hear, like they sound like they know what they're talking about.
Yeah, but they can't.
But they're not entertaining.
Yeah, they're not entertaining. Like, say what you will about Madden and Pat Summerall, that was a team if you was watching football. Like, you watched for them because, especially with Madden breaking down plays in real time in layman's terms for everybody and being right like 85 to 90% of the time. Like, he's telling you what's going to happen before it happens. Like, and him and Pat Summerall, they just went together. So, like, just like with Jim Ross and Jerry King Lawler, like, bruh, during the Attitude Era.
Perfect fit.
Perfect. Lawler was the heel commentator. Jim was a face commentator. And it just worked. And they got along. So it wasn't like they was like at each other's throats and forcing it. They got along, so it worked. Like, and plus, back then, you could do that. But King was just extra horny. So
puppies.
I'm like, bro, come on, dude. Like, yeah. So I mean, it's one of those situations where you're like, they don't have that, so it's not fun for me. So, and I get like you want to give them, like I said, props because they're trying to make it an Olympic thing, and I'm like, I don't think that's gonna work. So but they did breakdancing, so we know how that went.
That one at least has some history and some talent to it, but. I'm not saying esports doesn't, but I don't know.
It's relatively new though. So
yeah, it is. I don't know, but either way, with this award show, I mean, it's not like he doesn't have like the little montage, quick runs that they do on the pre-show and even during the show. What would have hurt 2 more categories? That would not have hurt unless you're trying to get somebody to win Game of the Year.
Yeah,
and that's why you just decided to just throw this little pebble in the pond and make sure that shows up.
But the thing is, he gonna get butthurt when people start damn calling him out on it.
Are they not doing that right now?
Because the time he got real upset was when the whole Death Stranding thing, because people found out that Kojima was on the board. Kojima should not be on the board if he has a game out. Nobody does that.
You should have common sense to know better than that, because people assume shit.
Yeah.
Even if he didn't do anything wrong, that still looks bad.
That looks bad because the main thing he said was, well, Death Stranding won the Paris games. Y'all ain't saying nothing. Yeah, because the Paris games didn't have him on the board. Damn, reviewing games, dumbass. So, like, bro, like, get out your feelings and like actually pay attention.
I mean, I'll problem standing up for his man. I mean, it's all cool, but
he shouldn't have did it, and that's the point. And I'm like, he gets in his feelings when people don't kiss his behind and tell him, they like, he gets in his feelings, and I'm like, bro, you need to chill out with that. You can take criticism, bro. You're not perfect in no way, shape, or form. So
question for you though, because he seems to be the only one doing it in America, who do you think should be doing it rather? at this point.
To be fair, because I understand why when Spike stopped doing it back in after 2011.
Mm-hmm.
I understand why he wanted to do it and you know bring like a thing to it. But the problem is, I don't care what you're doing. If you're trying to do an award show to do it right, you're gonna need advertisers.
Mm-hmm.
He's having to do it now anyway, even though
Mm-hmm.
it's a streaming show. So I'm like, at this point, like, dude, you don't need to host it. I mean,
You don't.
me and Vicky talked about that last year. He don't need to host it because he's just not good at it.
He's not. No.
That it's his baby. Fine, cool. You still be your baby, but since you got to have advertisers any damn way, you might as well cough up that money and either bring Sam Jackson or Zachary Levi or somebody else that is gaming that gamers can get behind and let them host the show. Because my favorite one was, I think it was either 2010 or 2011 when Sam Jackson hosted it.
Mm-hmm.
That was off the chain. But
Okay.
it was Spike. It was on Spike TV.
Got you. Okay.
And if you remember, those game shows were only 2.5 hours because they knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
Jeff Keighley, we be in there at 8 and going to midnight half the time.
I think that's only because he has the leverage of social media or YouTube. Because if it was televised, anyway in hell, he gonna be able to pull that off.
No, and he would not. He would not be allowed to have Kojima come on every year and have a 15-minute love fest. He would not be able to do that. He wouldn't. Am I lying? Look, case in point, last year he brought Kojima and Jordan Peele on to basically show facial recognition software.
Which was so stupid.
That's it. They have no game. They're talking about a game. They ain't got nothing They ain't got nothing, you know what I'm saying, lined up. He brought them out just to talk about a damn facial recognition. Dude, we could have that's 10 to 15 minutes that you could have shaved off the show. Instead of telling AGI Numa to wrap it up. Knowing he has a translator.
Yep.
He has a translator right next to him. You telling him to wrap it up. Then when people call you out on it, because once again, they're at the show showing the wrap-up screen. He's like, I didn't tell them to do that. Dude.
You only run the show. Got you. But you don't tell them what to do. Got it.
Okay, Jeff. All right, man. Whatever.
You didn't set the guidelines for when it need to be wrapped up. Got you. Okay.
But you're gonna tell him, you're gonna tell not a nobody. You're gonna tell AJ Numa that.
You tell the dude that played Kratos to wrap that shit up because he was up there all day, boy.
He was up there thanking everybody. I'm like, I thought he was gonna thank us at one point. You know the way he was doing. Like, bro, and then try to make a joke about it the next year. Like, dude, don't play with me.
Stop.
Don't play with me. Do not play with me.
I'm still fragile.
Yeah,
don't do that.
Do not play with me. So I mean that's yeah.
I mean, honestly, the categories in themselves need to change because I mean we've seen some bias in categories as well. Like the family category goes directly to Nintendo,
and that shouldn't be this shouldn't be a family.
That shouldn't be a thing.
Category because we already know what you're trying to push out with that BS. Because that's like, okay, really, bro.
Wilton, big announcement. Nothing
really. The only thing I can see, and this goes back to everybody's love for wanting to try to predict the Switch successor, the Nintendo successor. If they do what they did back in 2016, because I keep telling people in 2016 they did a commercial, they did a YouTube trailer in November at the Game Awards show. All they showed was said Breath of the Wild was going to be on the Switch.
Yeah,
that's it. That's it. Then we got the direct in January, and that's when they did their whole thing. So I'm thinking if Nintendo does what they're going to do, because Brothership just released, so I'm thinking we'll get another trailer probably around a couple weeks, because if we get a trailer, it's going to probably be around a couple weeks, and then we'll get something in some kind of form at the Game Awards if they decide to do that, because the last couple of years Nintendo ain't been doing nothing with them, to be honest. And then January will be the direct. where we'll get when it's going to release, the price, and when pre-orders can start.
Yeah, I mean, because thanks to Nintendo, I don't think you're really going to see any announcements at these events like that anymore.
They're going to do
Because
it on their own time.
they do it on their own time. So when we look at Xbox, I think they've already mentioned that, hey, any type of new hardware, it'll be some time down the line. And their biggest pitch right now is, hey, everything is an Xbox. So at this point, they don't have anything to announce. The PS5 Pro is already out. So you don't announce that. We all know Nintendo is not showing a lick of a successor here. So game-wise is the only way you can go. But
that's why I think they'll probably do that. They'll probably say what games coming to it.
I can't even think of a game that I'm like, oh, okay, if this shows up, everybody go crazy. Because really, we're going to see a bunch of world premieres, and they're going to be a lot of dark gloom shooters, that first-person games that we always see. I don't see anything surprising popping up here. The only thing that you could really surprise people with is what is it? The doggone game that was supposed to be out like 4 or 5 years ago. Shit.
We had a couple of them now, because one of them came out earlier this year. That was a Uden Chronicle.
I'm talking about the indie game that everybody look forward to.
Oh, Silk Song.
Yeah, Silk Song. That's the only surprise you can really pop up here with, because everybody else has been staying under wraps. And I would imagine I'm not announcing anything because I would rather hold off till Nintendo says something about that successor, and then that's where I can get my gold from. Because realize people buy the most at launch.
And I honestly think that a lot of these third parties, like, I really do think Metaphor is probably going to be on their successor.
Oh yeah,
so
100%. Yeah,
Sparking Zero is going to be on their successor. There's no way in the world Bandai Namco will probably not have put Sparking Zero on that Switch unless
they'd be stupid.
Yeah, because remember, Fighters couldn't play on there either. Remember that? So
they didn't learn their lesson. Because I mean, granted, the games has sold well, but yeah, you'd be a fool not to.
Yeah, it's 143 million. I'm putting my game on there. I'm putting it on there. It's 143 million, dude, and it's a cell shaded game. Why in the world would I not put it on there? That makes no sense. That literally makes no sense.
Money?
Yeah, unless you're Capcom, because Capcom, they break out in hives if they ever do anything other than Resident Evil, Monster Hunter, and Street Fighter.
Yeah, I'm about to say you'll definitely see some Monster Hunter Wild trailers for sure.
Yeah, especially after what Rise did and Sunbreak did. Yeah, I don't think they'll skip again.
Stupid to do it unless they plan to go the same route they did last time, to where Worlds was on like PlayStation, Xbox, and then they made their own thing with Rise. Yeah. But
I mean, I can see them doing that, but I don't see them like waiting a long time to do it. No, because they proved they did two things with Rise. One, proved that the RE engine does work, which a lot of people said it didn't. Surprise, surprise. And two, they made a crap ton of money that they weren't expecting to make.
Which isn't that lovely?
Yeah. What happens when you actually like put something on the system? Like, go figure.
Put forth the effort.
Yeah. So the whole thing with Microsoft, and their whole everything is an Xbox situation. What do you think, man?
So, if you have not seen, I have a video on my channel, going into detail, but I'll talk about some of the things I mentioned. So, first things first, I think they need to do better with this advertising, because right now what they're saying is sort of kind of false. Like, they're not wrong, but they're not right either. So, for example, if I wanted to download Xbox on my Samsung TV and say like, oh, okay, all I gotta do is go get me an Xbox controller, you're only able to play the games that are on cloud, and that's serviceable on cloud. Not all games are on cloud. So that's problem number one. Number two, cloud. Like, if your internet is not where it needs to be, cloud is still going to be a problem. So I think that's where their problem comes in with the marketing. Now, if you have an Xbox or if you have a PC, then yeah, I think that's a little bit more warranted, because of course, Xbox being a console, it is an Xbox. And then with PC, you have Game Pass, Cloud, as well as Xbox games do release on PC. So you can make that argument. Same thing with the handheld PCs. But when we start talking about mobile, Quest 3, your television, which once again, that was a little bit skewed too, because it's only Samsung. Nobody else is doing that.
Oh,
You
yeah,
can only
yeah.
get that on Samsung. So
And
they have
that TV is expensive.
very.
Yeah.
And so they have to do better with the marketing aspect, because throwing this out there, and I said in the video, I feel like it's the right path for them, solely because they're never winning the console market. Like, I don't care if they release the best console available, they're never winning that. And it's solely because, one, the stank that they already got on them, and then two, unfortunately, they just can't get into Japan like that. As much as they go over and they shake hands and they kiss babies, that market just don't fool with them out of loyalty to, other Japanese businesses, which is respectable. You know what I mean? So, and you're not winning Europe because PlayStation got Europe on lock. And then really all you can win is America, and you're not even doing that. So in order for this to work, the software got to show up. And another thing I mentioned in the video was, this is a good move for them because of the demographic that they made for their console. They made the Dude Bros shoot 'em up crowd. So that crowd's not buying anything else. They'll buy Gears, they'll buy Halo, they may buy Forza, but they're not buying any of your other IPs because you curated the shoot 'em club. Like, Call of Duty is a great fit for Xbox. Like, I expect that game to do bonkers over on Xbox. But the thing is, it's not, no other genre can come. They did a great job getting the Dragon Quest, the Final Fantasy. They did an amazing job doing that. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to do anything.
Yeah, the RPG market, they can hang it up, especially if you talk about now Western RPGs, you may have a shot. Japanese RPGs, you're not going to have a shot.
No, like, there's a handful, including myself, that will purchase over there. But even then, I will still opt to go with the Switch for my RPG.
Yeah.
So because RPGs, I need to be able to move around. I don't like sitting down playing those long ass games like that. So when it comes down to them, they've painted themselves in this corner. Now, the only thing they can do now is just spread out. Now, when you spread out, you need games to spread out. You've already gotten rid of Hi-Fi Rush. There's nothing you can do about that. Which
you shouldn't have did to begin with.
But
I don't think that was a Phil Spencer call, but
it probably wasn't.
People keep telling me I'm crazy for saying that. So, like, okay.
Well, Phil doesn't make all calls, and I think people understand a boss has a boss that has a boss that has a boss.
Yeah. And he has a boss called stakeholders.
Exactly. So, and then also too, you think about, and we mentioned it a lot, and Sunset Overdrive. That would have been fantastic if they were able to spread that game out. Their demographic did not honor that game. So when I look at what they're doing and the advertising that they're doing, while it can be done better, I think it's something they have to do because they're painted in such a corner that they can't get out of. They can't get out of this corner. My fan base will not buy anything outside of these 3 franchises that we have. Now, we can bring Fable back. We can bring out Avowed. We can bring out Hellblade. We bring out Stalker. We can bring out all these games. Starfield. Hell, Starfield should have done better. But they don't do anything outside of these damn shooters. So now let me take it over to PlayStation and see what y'all do with it. But then once again, like I said in the video, PlayStation is in that same boat. You've gotten people accustomed to these movies, these third-person over-the-shoulder games. The only one that kind of escapes that is Spider-Man, and that's because it was already established before you got it. So, so at this point, now you have to find new IPs to bring in because you let your old IP go.
Which don't make no sense because, like, PlayStation 1 and 2, they had it on lock.
They had it on lock. And that was what I said too. Like, they were the mature Nintendo at the time because they were for everybody. Even for those that wanted the gory, over-the-top shoot. Like, they had it, but they let it go, like you said, to chase Microsoft on that graphics party. Now they get into, we want to make movies. And that's where they are. And so now
spending $400 million on a game and wondering why you ain't make no money back.
Right. And so now you got to pivot. Because even when we talk about like the movie type, whatever, like story-based situation, Horizon was a good fit for that. And like people just will not digest that game. Like they are throwing that game up every time it comes around.
Which I feel I love the honest trailer guys, but that was funny when it was like, maybe if you stop releasing your game around Legend of Zelda, you make more money. Like, bro. So like,
It's true. But honestly, this last time it wasn't even Zelda for real. It was Elden Ring.
It was Elden Ring.
So it's like stop releasing around better games. Like that's just what it is, or even generational games at this point.
Yeah.
So to me, and like RJ said, is a way for them to say that we're going third party, but we're not. And in a way, I still kind of wouldn't constitute as third because they're still holding the console, they're still holding certain exclusive things. So I mean, I say they're kind of teetering.
Yeah.
But all in all, my biggest takeaway was I never understood why people thought they were going to stop doing consoles. That I think that was
I think it was because that one interview that Phil did where they were trying to go back and reiterate being the center of the home living room, and I think that's what people. Because I went back and watched that interview. It was a question that was asked, and he pretty much said that, yeah, we're trying to get away with where we're just in your living room, and I think people took it as him saying that the Series X can be our last console, and I don't think that's what he meant. I don't think that's what he meant. But I think he meant like as far as like the operating system is probably gonna be all Azure anyway.
Yeah, it's going to be everywhere. So whether you have an Xbox or not, we're on your TV, we're on your computer, we're on your phone, we're on your tablet. Like I get what he was saying, and then even when you talk about where he says he wants to give, and they've been saying the same thing. We want to give you a way to play our games, like however you want to play it. So that means you cannot omit the console, because if I'm a console player, then you getting rid of the console makes no sense.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, oh, well, why would they continue if they're losing money? Sony loses money on the console until towards the end. So it's like, I don't like they're going to always lose money. It's like, but you pay too much attention to themselves.
Yeah.
And that's where it gets people misconstrued a little bit.
The thing about Sony is Sony since PS2 has been telling everybody our consoles are for 10 years. The reason why the consoles are for 10 years is because they don't make no money till they don't break even till like year 5 or 6.
No. I would imagine they've done better this year because this is the only year I've seen an older product get more expensive. But
yeah,
other than that,
I don't think it's gonna sell. No. People ain't picking up because the simple fact of if you're telling me they got to spend $700 for this, what's gonna happen in 2 years when you put out that PS6? I'm not spending $1,500 for that. I'll just move everything over to my PC.
People are fool if they don't think that PS6 is going to be anywhere of $650 and up, because they're testing the water right now. Like,
yeah, that's what they're doing.
Even if you go outside the realm of gaming, we look at like the VR headsets, right? Meta is doing a hell of a job. Like they just dropped the 3S and it's selling for $300 and it's doing pretty well. Apple just stopped production on the Vision Pro. Like I'm not dropping $3,000 on a product. Like that's just not happening. So now they're like, okay, we got to rethink this. Like we got to rethink this in a way of, okay, how do we make this sustainable at the same time affordable for your everyday consumer? Like everybody ain't a big baller like that.
Somebody should have slapped them in the face when they said they were going to charge $3,400 for that.
Who you telling?
Like, bro, like, look, dude, it's like you can't sit there and be like, okay, we're going to make this product for everybody, but you got to spend $3,000 because it's our name. Wait a minute, it's your name. Because that's basically what you're paying for. Because if I'm up against, like you said, like MetaQuest, $300, $3,400.
One plays games. Well, a lot of games. The other one plays some games.
Like I'm just not even all of our stuff.
No,
but they can get all of our stuff on this $300 thing over here.
One's wireless, one isn't. It's just it's the exchange. But even with all of this, they still got to show up with the software. Like Game Pass is cool. Cloud is cool, but if you don't have any like first party stuff to play, that's where your problem comes in. And then also too, before I've seen so many people say there should not be exclusives, but then got mad at this decision. It's like, how does one not equal to the other one? Like, if you don't want exclusives, then this is a great idea because now that means you can have your PlayStation, you can have your PC and play what you want to play. You can have your Switch and play what you want to play. But in all honesty, I know a lot of people saying that they don't want exclusives because they exclusives don't sell. Like if this Nintendo is the one that shows you, yes, you do need exclusives because their exclusives hold up a console.
Yeah, exclusives give you the reason why I'm buying this.
Thank you.
Like, when I hear people say stuff like that, I'm like, okay, first of all, and then here's the thing that I've always gotten upset with, is why I refuse to argue with people now. When people tell you that, oh, well, I just want this game here so it have other people can play. I'm like, so you had a system? Oh no, I don't have a system. Well, why would you play it here if it comes here? Oh, I never played it there. I only play on PlayStation.
Look,
Then why in the hell are you? Why in the hell are you talking? Like,
here, here's
so
my thing. There's a handful of people that I will say justly look out for other people. But this gaming community,
don't do that.
stop
Yeah,
it.
they don't do that.
Stop.
Yeah.
You don't care. Like
Yeah.
I've heard on other podcasts, like you guys should demand more of Xbox. We want you to have better. No, you don't.
No,
Like if
you
you
don't.
dogging them out every week, you just got a new game, possibly a new console, but you're talking about Xbox. How in the world does that even
Equate.
equate? Like,
That shouldn't even equate. Like,
but so I mean, to my thing is like I hear that, and it's all bull. But I mean, honestly, like RJ said, and we said too, Sony and Nintendo are afloat because of their exclusives. You don't go to Sony if there is no Last of Us, if there's no
yeah.
Horizon, if there's no Uncharted, if there's no Spider-Man. Like you don't go there. Maybe I shouldn't say Horizon, but you know it is what it is. But you don't you don't go there for I mean you don't go to PlayStation without those games. You don't go to PlayStation if they don't get by 6-month exclusives. You don't go to them because I'm gonna be honest with you, like Xbox is still the better controller to me. Like
Yeah.
you don't go there for that. They both you got to pay online for both. They both
Mhm.
give you something similar. In all honesty, feature wise, Xbox is the better console.
Because it
You
has a
got
better online. It is a more
better
stable
online,
online. Yeah,
better
it's more
game.
stable.
They have Game Pass. They
Yeah.
have quick resume. They have the option for you to download a game before you buy it, so that way when you do get turned on the game, it's already downloaded. Like they have better features, and then also to me, like I said, the controller is better. You can say AA batteries all you want to. I have rechargeable batteries. I'm fine, but
I have an
it's
elite, so I don't have to worry about that.
and I got an elite as well, so I
Yeah.
can charge the bad boys 40 hours. So
Yeah.
it's a better console. So why else would you go to PlayStation? It's the same thing when you talk about iPhones. It's that mentality that it's a phone that doesn't get viruses, or people like the whole iMessage thing, which now is getting ready to be done away with. So it's like
Yeah.
I don't get it, but yeah, it is what it is. I like the move for them. It's just they have to do better with the software, and I think what Avowed in February, and then we have what the midnight
The South of Midnight.
South of Midnight game
Yeah.
that is coming out. Like those could be pretty good front runners.
Yeah.
Of like, okay, this is what we've been waiting for. Now, I'm not saying that the South of Midnight isn't going to PlayStation, but it's still something that's been showcasing on Xbox.
Yeah, because I have a feeling that will look
Oh, it is. It is.
The thing is, Sony and Microsoft are basically identical at this
They are.
point.
Yeah.
So I don't, and once again, the reason why you're seeing Death Stranding over on Xbox, you want to know why you're seeing it over on Xbox? It ain't making money like that.
No,
it didn't. I promise you it didn't. Because guess what? Not only do you have to pay, I don't know how much it cost, how much the final tally was, but you got to pay all them A-list actors. Norman Reedus is not cheap.
Yeah.
Leah Sado is not cheap. Guillermo del Toro is not cheap.
No.
He got paid twice because he was in it and he wrote and he helped write it.
Yeah.
So he got paid twice.
Yeah.
These folks ain't cheap. So
and it went to Game Pass. That's the craziest part about it. Like,
so I'm sitting there like, yeah, that thing was gonna come. It was gonna go to PC. It was gonna come to Xbox at some point because I promise you they didn't make what they needed to make back.
Nope,
they didn't. That's why a lot of these games are doing that. People getting mad because Xenoblade or Bayonetta or what's another one that came out third party that didn't go to Sony and Microsoft. I'm like, yeah, because one in the Bayonetta situation, Kamiya told you we went to Sony and Microsoft and they told us no.
Yeah.
So if you want to get mad at them. In same thing with Monolith and Xenoblade. Xenosaga was freaking on
PlayStation.
Was PlayStations. They let it lapse. They let the team go.
Yeah. I'm telling you, it's all you got to do is pay attention. Like, stop letting people tell you what they want you to believe and just look at the writing on the wall. Sometimes these developers will come out and tell you what's up. Like, it's just that people didn't show up. It was the same thing with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like they went to Microsoft and Microsoft
Said
didn't
no.
budge.
Yeah.
So it's on Sony. Like, like
Yeah.
there's it's opportunities everywhere. We don't get all the behind the scenes, but like RJ, like who was it? Nightwolf said they're identical. They're
Yeah.
identical. It's just a matter of which controller you prefer, and at this point, which exclusives you prefer. And in reality, I mean, if you want both, go PC. But it's
Hmm.
just it's
Or if you're into graphics as hard as you claim you are, go
PC, yeah.
PC.
Because I mean, at
Because
this point, you have all the dual sense functions are on PC. Like you
yeah,
don't miss out on that.
and those controllers are compatible with PC.
Yes, sir.
Like my 8-bit those compatible with PC. My
Yes, sir.
Elite compatible with PC.
Hmm.
Like I have controllers that work with my Switch and my PC, my my Xbox and my PC, my PS 4 and my PC. So
Hmm.
it's not hard to do that. Now back in the day it wasn't that easy, but
No, no,
now
no.
it's easy. So you don't even have to
Hmm.
do that.
Yeah,
So you don't even need a PC controller. You really don't.
yeah. So at this point, I think this is a smart move for them. I'm interested to see, and I think it was smart for Phil to say that it was going to be some time before we see a handheld. And honestly, I think they're going to wait until things one get a little bit more cheap, and then two advances a little bit better. Because honestly, as much as people hype up Steam Deck, no, like
And you got to make sure your battery life ain't gonna die in 2 hours because you playing Halo.
that
You
aside,
know.
too, they started a program that they don't even hold up on, and that's the Verify program.
Yeah.
So it's like if I go to because even like my son, he's like, Dad, this one says that it's not verified. Can I get it? I'm like, yeah, you can play it. Now, you kind of taking risk, but
Yeah.
you can play it. But that's the one thing that's going to always be an issue with PC until somebody steps up and changes it. And that is, does my rig run this game? And
Yeah.
even if it does run it, how well does it run it? Because you can continue to advertise it to me all day, but if I don't have an updated CPU, if I don't have an updated video card, if I don't have enough RAM, if I don't have enough hard drive space, there's so many things that can go wrong with that. And that's where console will always be around because it's a plug and play situation. Like you don't have to figure all that crap out. As long as
Yeah.
that box says Xbox, PlayStation, or Nintendo, it works.
Yeah.
So, mm,
That's why I don't mind PC gaming, and there are some games that I wouldn't mind, especially like back in the day. Like I had bought Grandia 2 on Steam because they didn't have it
yeah.
nowhere else.
Mm-hmm.
So now it is, and guess where I play it at?
Because I was say PC. I mean, people talk about preservation all the time. That's the only spot you really gonna find old games at.
Yeah. And you're lucky if they don't delist them.
Right.
And that's why I'm like, well, but y'all know how I feel about the game preservation people. Y'all know how I feel about them. But I'm just it's one of those situations. Look, Microsoft doing what they got to do.
Yeah.
Phil's been doing what he has to do to try to keep Satella from closing them down.
Yeah.
I mean, people got mad at Game Pass, but I'm like, dude, they got to do that. They don't
They
have a
have
choice.
to.
They don't have a choice. Like before, when Ballmer was there, they were just writing blank checks. They were just writing blank checks. You can't do that. I mean,
But my
that's
thing is,
pretty
how
much
is
what it
PS
was.
Plus any different?
Yeah. So, and PS Plus did that because they got to compete.
Yeah. The only thing that, if I remember correctly, when I was looking at both libraries, the only difference is Xbox Game Pass, you get those exclusives day one.
Yeah, you get them day one. Yeah, that's it. So
So,
it is what it is. I'm pulling for everybody to do good because when I don't want to have another situation like when Sega left.
or in a situation to where we are with certain software. Because I
Yeah.
was tweeted the other day, like I'm in a mood to play a basketball game because now with basketball, I got to just watch the highlights. Like they got it so scattered,
Mm-hmm.
like I don't even know where to watch anymore.
Oh
So,
yeah, because it's on True TV, it's on this,
boy,
it's on that. Like, bro, y'all need to make it y'all mind.
yeah, they got to. But
Yeah.
I just watched the highlights. But I'm like, man, I want to, play a basketball game. I'm not touching 2K25. It's on a 55% sale right now, and I'm still not touching it. Like
I don't blame you.
I
I heard that
can't.
game was buggy as hell.
It is buggy. Even the mode I play, I typically play like my GM or my NBA. They came with the whole, yeah, you can walk around in the building, talk to the players, talk to like the other staff members. Da, da, da. After that first year, the dialogue resets, and it's the same dialogue throughout the entire year again. So
I'm not doing that.
So if you have the Hawks and Trae Young is like, hey, look, are we going for a ring or otherwise you can trade me? He says the
First of
same thing
all,
the following year. Like,
you little 5 foot nothing mother.
so I mean, 2K is lazy, man, but they can be lazy because
they
they
don't have no
can be
competition.
bold enough to say, oh, we're gonna drop a gravity ball mode in our game.
Well,
Like,
they don't have no competition.
they don't have none. And
So
that's why I'm like, I'm dying for it. Like, this is bad when I'm asking EA. I'm like, EA, I'm asking you, I'm begging you, just give us live back, please. I'm asking. Dang, why Luka catch a stray? Dang, why Luka get a stray?
No, bro. What Luka did to you?
I don't know. Caught the cleanest of strays.
I know. Dang, so but yeah, I feel you on that. But that's what happens when you don't have competition. When you don't have competition, you can put out BS. WWE was doing it for years. So AEW showed up. But they had to change when AEW showed up because like people don't want to get AEW their props, but AEW being around forced them to acknowledge other damn promotions. It forced them to acknowledge that Japan actually has a different style, and that style actually works and is more entertaining than holding people for 10 plus minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like the fact that they run a show called Forbidden Door, and guess what? That pay-per-view is always fire. So, I mean, having competition is not a bad thing. So, I mean, I wish NFL 2K, I wish Vicarious Visions was back with NFL 2K so Madden could act right. Because we know what they need a 2K5.
Man, I'm sad to see the direction they're going with that too, because I think they got the NFL 2K thing back, but now it's like a arcade thing now.
Arcade thing. It's not what it used to be. But then again, I don't want like a full on. The problem with the simulation games is they're not fun.
They're not fun, no. That's why you're always tweaking the sliders, and it's too much.
I'm like, bro, the simulation games we had back in the 6th gen and 7th gen, they were fun
because it was a mixture of arcade and simulation.
You didn't have to be perfect in your shot every time for it to go through.
It's too much.
You need to make it a game. I don't need to see sweat beads on Zion. I don't need to see that.
New nut sweat feature. I'm like, I don't.
Yeah, I don't need to see that. The new Diddy Party feature. The baby oil feature. Nobody want to see the baby oil feature? No,
at all.
No.
Dark Void. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't see your question on Twitter. Okay, so to answer your question, no, they don't have an exclusive agreement with the NBA. And what happened to Live? It sucked. It got to a point to where if you paid attention to it, and I've always bought a NBA game every year. This is the only year I have not purchased an NBA game. So Live started tanking the moment they moved over to the 360 to the HD era. That's when they try to stray away from their arcade style to the sim style, because that's what 2K was. So instead of just continuing how they were rocking, they try to be like 2K, because 2K was gaining some type of ground. Now, granted, that wasn't the last time they made a game. It just never improved. And their biggest fall off was NBA Elite. That was like NBA 11, when they were trying to change the dribbling system, the control scheme. Like, they were trying to change too much, and the game was broken. So they pretty much tanked the game for like 2 years. And then finally they kind of came back. They had like a nice little resurgence before the Dwight Howard version. And then what was it? NBA Live 10 was like their best one. And then the last one they did with Embiid on the cover of 19 was actually pretty good. But they just never recovered. And whenever they said they were going to come out again in like 21, I guess something went wrong. And I know a guy here that, I used to be a mutual friend of mine, and he used to work at EA, and he was saying that a lot of people just got moved from the Live project over to the whole college football thing, because they were working on that pretty early on. And I think Sandstorm said something similar to it as well, but they moved that entire team over. Honestly, Live could make a comeback, but honestly, I don't think that's where their focus is. They're still doing good with football club. Madden still doing what it's doing with the exclusivity clause. It's just 2K got it on lock right now. So for them to come in, it will be a breath of fresh air. But EA is one of those that's like, if we can't rock off rip, they just don't want to touch it. So I'm interested to see if they do it again. But really, it was, to me, I feel like NBA Live Elite, NBA Elite, when they try to switch it from live, is what killed them. Because they put a lot of money in that game just for it never to release. And when they did come back, while it got a positive reception, it wasn't at the level of 2K. They actually end up getting Mike Wang that year too, and he came from 2K to help them out, and that was one of like their best games. And then he went back to 2K after that. So from what he said was they needed competition, so he went over to help the competition, and they didn't want to use what he implemented, so he left again.
See, I know where to fix all of this. It's not going to be NBA 2K Warriors.
See, you were close.
NBA
you were
Jam.
close.
NBA Jam.
You can't, because EA own NBA Jam.
Kobe's courtside.
It's one of those things.
Okay, all right. Back to NBA Live Warriors. So just do the NBA Live Warriors.
Because if you look at all the developers that used to do basketball games, the only ones that still exist is EA, Microsoft, Sony, and I think that's it.
Yeah, because the Vicarious Visions team that's around is not the one from.
They're not there anymore. 989 Sports doesn't exist anymore.
They don't exist. Yeah.
505 Games exist, but they don't do sports anymore.
They do RPGs and stuff and adventure games now.
Right. Konami, they don't do it anymore because they used to do basketball games too, or sports games. So I mean, really, 2K and EA are the only ones alive. Microsoft and Sony, I don't think they'll ever go into that field again. Solely because 2K is making them too much money.
Well, here's the other thing too. Like, I think that when Tiburon went down, when EA got rid of Tiburon, that kind of killed it for like the, other like our NBA Streets and NFL Street and all of those. I'm like,
also remember that it was a fad then too, because we were just watching Too Fast, Too Furious last night. And I was like, you remember we got the undergrounds, we got the midnight clubs, like everybody was in that scene because that was a popular scene. Once the scene died down, people stopped making games about it.
It was just like when it was all the stream sports and stuff.
Yeah, the BMX games, the Tony Hawk's, like it died because no one saw it as popular anymore. Now, granted, they still got a nice following. Like people still do car shows, people still go to the X Games and stuff like that. But if the companies don't see it as it's in your face, they ain't doing it no more.
And plus, they ain't those standout guys like it was Tony Hawk, White,
Dave Mirra and Sean White,
White, and all them. They ain't that no more. They ain't
no.
Because those guys are old. So they.
I mean, but they got
Tony Hawk's like 55. So
but they got new people though. It's not like they were the last of the Mohicans.
But they don't resonate with people.
True.
So it's not like Sean White was resonating with people.
Yeah, because I feel like Rob would have did something a long time ago. He just never did
until he cut his hair, and then what the hell was you thinking, boy? But no.
All in all, I mean, from both the console side to the software side, honestly, it's like I want Xbox to stay around. That's actually one of my favorite consoles is the Xbox because feature based, the controller, the UI in itself, like I love the Xbox. But when it comes down to it, Nintendo's really gonna have to be the one. They got to be the one. And this is the fine time to where what they try to do with the Wii U, they were allowed to be ignored because people really loved what the PS4 and the Xbox One were promising.
And plus, they allowed themselves to be lied to too.
There you go. So now you're in a spot now to where you just dropped the $700 PS5 Pro, and you got to watch channels to see the difference. Like if it's not,
you really can't see the difference.
You really can't. Like, and y'all full of crap if you do. It's like, oh, well, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth was blurry. You didn't say that when it came out. No. So like, I want to hear about it now.
And it's not, and it's really not blurry. If you actually looking at it on TV, it's not blurry. Now your picture may have been a little blurry because if you notice, it's always a picture.
Always. Xbox, they're not releasing anything new. Software is not innovative outside of Nintendo. So at this point, you cannot deny them on whatever it is they about to do. I I agree. Yes, there may be, it may just look like a bigger Switch, but feature based, I don't think Nintendo would skimp on
No.
features. And yes, BMX Triple X, like as a kid, I'm like, dude, I gotta get that game. Because I knew I was like, there's no way. They was like, yeah. I'm like, all right, let me go pick this up. And they was like, you can't pick that up. You too young to rent this. I was
Yeah.
like,
They
okay.
did that, boy. Yeah, they went there. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting because it's like everything you want to see is coming to pass, and
Hmm.
people paying the price. And now, like Nintendo know their lane and they control their narrative. You ain't gonna ever. That whole stuff that happened with the Wii U ain't gonna happen again.
No, it's not.
It's
Not
not
even
gonna
close.
happen again because nobody controls the narrative but them.
That's true. Yeah. So I mean, like I said, kudos to those of you that went trading your PS5s in or either bought $700 up front. If you see the difference, damn it, there's a difference. I'm not here to say otherwise. At the
Yeah,
end of the day, I'm not gonna pay seven hundred
that
dollars for
much.
something that you promised me early on.
Yeah.
This is what you're not about to make me pay more for what you told me I already should have
I was
had.
getting, yeah.
Yeah,
That's what,
is
once again, that's why I'm like, the reason why I rocked with Nintendo like I rocked with them because they don't lie like that.
yeah.
They show you what the game's going, how the game's gonna run.
Hmm. Yeah, I can't. So at this
Yeah,
point, like
let's
I
say
told
at
you
that
before in
point,
the last time, I gotta find one squad to rock with.
yeah,
And at this point, it's Nintendo. Like if I come back on here and I say, hey, look, the successor is the only thing in my house, it is what it is. Like
yeah, yeah, I can't even get mad at that because, like I said, I think a lot of games that have been coming out the last 6 months are gonna be on that successor only because
hmm
like they just couldn't say nothing yet
hmm
and they couldn't put because I I don't know why I'm thinking this, but why not think that logo is going to change again? But if it does, it does. And
It's
that's
about
why they had
the Nintendo logo.
Nintendo. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think the logo
probably.
going to change again, and that's why they hadn't put nothing up because Nintendo probably asked them not to do it.
Yeah.
Like, don't do it, and we'll take care of it when we do the reveal. So
That's true. My bad. Switch to an Xbox. But
yeah,
yeah, I mean, they're probably going to switch up a lot. But if you really look at the bigger picture for what Nintendo's doing, Nintendo has a library that dates back to what the NES.
mm-hmm,
It covers some of PlayStation, some of Xbox, and of course, like their own stuff. So when we look at things like you and I were talking earlier about how like I've been enticed to get the GTA trilogy now that they fixed it. Realize these were like the golden era of PS2 games
mm-hmm,
that never touched a Nintendo console, but now you can have it on the Switch. There
yeah.
like all it take like I'm telling you, if they ever say, you know what, we're gonna do Jade Empire, we're gonna remaster that and put it on the Switch. That'd be
It's
crazy.
over. It's over. It's over because I have always said I don't know why BioWare decided to leave that by itself. I'm like, bro, you had something to build off of.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the controls are not the best now.
Mm-mm.
Looking at it now, you probably need to do some quality of life updates to the controls. But you had something there if you would have stuck with it. But
Mm-hmm.
y'all decided to go to the Mass Effect route. I'm like, okay, and just completely leave that to the wayside. So
Mm-hmm. So I mean, it has a crazy library. Like any of your
yeah,
beloved games is on this console. Like I said, the only ones I've seen drop the ball has been Square with that whole
yeah,
Kingdom Hearts situation. But
which I
uh,
thought was hilarious. And then the excuse they gave.
I ain't gonna eat that. But it's like it's one of those things to where this like Nintendo could really be like a jack of all trades in the sense of we're gonna give you damn near 10 generations worth of games. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's doable.
And your controllers work.
And your controllers work. So I mean,
So
it's crazy because I got a feeling they're gonna do something again with this GameCube. They love it too much.
yeah, and the sad thing about it is you got the GameCube controller, you got a Sega controller, you got a Genesis controller, you got an N64 controller, you got the NES and SNES controllers. Yeah, something going on. They
They're gonna
cooking
do something.
something.
Yeah.
They cooking something. So, all right, peeps, that's gonna be it for this show. Thank you everybody in the chat. We appreciate you for coming through and hanging out with us for a little bit today. Don't forget, tomorrow, 12 noon, we will be doing a live reaction for the nominees. Pray for us. And Jack, anything you want to pimp out?
Yeah, just go to the channel, watch the Xbox video that I dropped last week. Just kind of going over the subject we just spoke about. And then also too, just continue to follow the channel, continue to show love. Sandstorm's Rebirth channel that he has, Vito, Shadow whenever he decides to drop, Andre with his 1,000 videos he drops, and then of course Jay, always dropping content here and there. So yeah, I mean, definitely continue to support. We appreciate y'all, man. Thank you for tuning in every Sunday we come through here. Even on Saturdays, some of y'all pop in when we do those Saturday shows. But yeah, I definitely appreciate everybody. So thanks once again.
Yeah, and just to give y'all guys a little run, we're gonna have an episode next Sunday, but that following Sunday we're probably gonna be off because of Thanksgiving, and then y'all know what happens after that, right? The Game Awards.
Hey, the best award show on the planet
of all time. So, and then we'll probably do our annual gift idea show, and then we'll probably take the rest of the year off just because by that time it'll be Christmas time. So
yeah,
it'll be time for the holidays and stuff like that. So you'll see us here next Sunday. I forgot to put up the Tekken 8 expansion first hour, so I'm gonna put that up tomorrow. So I do apologize. I had it done, but then I looked at it, I didn't like it, and then I forgot to put it up. So that's on me. I was working on some stuff, so I don't know what I'm gonna do next for press start, but I'll figure something out. And once again, thank you guys. Thank you. We will see you guys next Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, people. Peace out.
Peace.